Okay. So today we're going to talk about course design. And by the end of this input, you will understand and identify key characteristics of course design, identify areas of general and ESP common issues, and within those areas, and how to overcome those issues. So let's get to know each other a bit before we move on. What are your career and research goals? What are you focusing within your English teaching specialization? And what is your experience conducting research into a topic or population? And lastly, have you ever conducted a needs analysis, NA? What was your process? Yeah, anyone?
I never conducted needs analysis before this course. I only started doing here and I like it. And now I'm a researcher. I'm early and starter researcher in this area. I think for me, my career, I'd like to conduct online lessons with children around the world. I learn about this with passing TEFL TESOL. I think about this. That's all for now, for me.
Thank you, Olga. Julia?
So as for me, so I am dreaming about to create. I'm dreaming about creating a course in business English. So this is one type of my course, and another type of my course will be for those students who are going to pass pass exams.
Like the IELTS and Cambridge English exams.
So I hope that that I will be able to pass TKT exam firstly, and then I will think about probably some international exams, probably TOEFL and so on.
TOEFL, okay, thank you. Sana?
As for me, I'd like to create a course of methodology for teachers who want to start teaching, or maybe who don't have enough knowledge in this field. As for my career, I think that I have already decided to start Delta this summer.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and
the last one, have you ever conducted a needs analysis, Oksana?
Not exactly, but during the course, I understand that there are many demands from people who want to teach methodology.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it.
Michael?
Well, frankly speaking, about the last one, I haven't tried it before. Only as you guys during the course that struck my mind. But I'm certainly aware of the fact that it will go with a swing with the analysis assessment. So it will help the student to identify his needs, his positive sides and negative sides, while you are taking up the new student.
So what was your process, Olga? You mentioned during the course, you've all conducted a needs analysis during this course. What was your process? Anyone, Olga, if you wanna
No.
go ahead. Yeah, Olga. No.
Well,
Okay. Yes, Michael.
obviously, first you need to observe the student. Take some notes. Jot down some maybe of his pros and cons. Then you need to think, how can you help him with this? So these are two key points of conducting needs analysis.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Now, what is ESP? ESP, and how is it different from general English? English for specific purposes. So we have two definitions here. The aims are clearly defined, and analysis of the learner's needs play an important role in deciding what to include in a course. So ESP would be business English. ESP would be teaching to tests. I'll share the PDF with you, so you don't need to write anything down. Definition 2. The main concern with ESP has always been and remain with needs analysis, text analysis, and preparing learner to communicate effectively in tasks prescribed by their study or work. So, in other words, we have ESP because it's something that it's a soft skill that we need to teach English and other soft skills that we need to teach our students in order to communicate more efficiently in their either in the course of their studies or work. Okay, defining characteristics. It should be learner-centered. I hope we remember what that is. Designed to meet the specific needs of the learner or a group of learners. Sometimes it could be that we are designing a course for a group of them. For example, for a group of engineers or for a group of learners who want to study abroad, and they all need to pass the IELTS test. Content is specific to a certain field, profession, or occupation. If we are designing a business English course, it could be a general business English course, or it could be, for example, geared towards one subfield of business English. So it could be really specialized. And lastly, makes use of underlying methodologies for the field it serves. What this means is what we do in general English, we also do in English for specific purposes. So the same methodologies apply to both. Areas of ESP. So for academic purposes, for example, academic writing or law studies or anything like that. Professional purposes, EPP, healthcare sector, if you're teaching nurses or doctors, English for nursing, okay, and EOP, English for the hospitality industry, English for hotel receptionists. So their needs, EOP needs, will be different from EPP needs, obviously. Okay, what are the issues? Well, we as EFL teachers, we only have nowadays we don't have a lot of qualifications. Maybe we have 2 or 3 that are really good, but things are improving. If we're talking about the TKT, the CELTA, the Delta, those are general teaching qualifications. They do not prepare you for ESP training. So you need to work on your own and to specialize to learn about. If you're going to prepare a course for a group of nurses and you don't know much about nursing, yes, the CELTA will help you, the Delta will help you, but you need to do your own research and you need to well, that's where course design comes in. So teachers often lack the domain-specific background knowledge. And lastly, ESP course designers lack the ability to find or create authentic, level-appropriate materials. Even if you find the right materials, whether they are appropriate for the level, so we are talking, let's say, a B1 or B2 level of nurses or something like that, it's very difficult to know. So what do we have? How well we do the evaluation, how, method and materials and methods, then who, when, where, and why, needs analysis, and language and learning objectives. So those are the pillars of English for specific purposes course design. And also for general English, it's just less specific. So research approaches to a needs analysis in general English and English for specific purposes. Needs analysis is a course development process that includes different types of analysis. So we have target, present situation, etc., to inform the types of activities and methods of instructions to accurately represent the needs of a learner. What are some of the characteristics? Identifying relevant, previously conducted research. So if there is previous research into that, you need to make use of it. If you're talking about IELTS, then there is plenty of research, so you can make use of it. Identifying possible sources of information. We'll see some practical examples in a moment. Choose a type of analysis to match goals. Determine the most useful methods to collect the data. We'll see how we can collect data. And NA should be reliable, valid, and practical. And we should have small and large scale. We could have small and large scale research approaches. Do we have any questions so far?
No,
Okay.
No questions by now.
4 views of needs: diagnostic, identify and rank language, genres, and skills necessary to succeed in a field. Identify and rank language, the specific language. If we're talking about nursing, then there is some specific language that nurses use. And so first we need to identify it, and then we need to rank it according to the CFR, to the levels. Then genre, whether we are talking about some general or some specific situations, and skills necessary to succeed in a field. So we also need to identify those skills. Discrepancy, identify the gaps in knowledge between what the learner knows at the beginning of a course and what they need to know to function successfully in a field. This applies to general as well as to ESP, general English and ESP. This is very important. You need to know where your learner is and what their gaps are in order to be able to take them to the place where they desire to be. Democratic, identify what the other stakeholders want, needs, or need, or requests, or an ESP course are. So stakeholders, we'll learn about stakeholders. Does anyone know what stakeholders are right now?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll see. In a moment, you'll learn about stakeholders. And then analytic, matching the course to specific types of SLA theories, research, and practices. Second language acquisition theories. So there are many theories. We've touched upon some during this course, and you need to make use of those. Okay. So types of analysis: discourse and register. Top down, break apart, looks at why, at the why and how, links language from the usage, and an example could be explain why a certain part of speech is used in a particular situation. So we have English for nursing, and then we have for example, a situation top down would be, we have some language like cannula or syringe, and then we need to explain why we use those words in a particular situation. And then we have register, bottom up, put together, set of linguistic elements people associate with a particular situation. Example of register: formal or informal. So and examples in use: identify use of language features for academic writing. So an example would be celiac disease would be formal, and gluten intolerance informal. So Latin names in English, and then common names that people use, for example. So that could be one analysis of, now we are talking about the language so we need to take that into consideration. Then we have genre and task-based. One of the most important tools in ESP is genre. So whether it's for communication within a discourse community, identifies common features, use, and reasons why. So we have conference proposals, if we're talking about business English. Can you think of more examples of genre?
Probably role play of business talks or discussions.
Yes, negotiations.
Negotiations. So you're quite right.
Absolutely. So you need to know about how business professionals negotiate, and they know that in their mother tongue. They know how to do that, but now they need to learn that in English.
Interview.
Job interview.
Absolutely, yes. For IELTS students, let's not talk only about business English. For IELTS students,
Writing. Yes, letters, academic letters.
yes, that would be for academic, related to academic writing a letter. An academic letter, great. Okay, and then when preparing a course, task-based, it is one methodology, identifies specific actions that must be performed in the target situation. Tasks should be clearly defined and focus on the meaning being understood. Example, can-do statements in job descriptions. So for each job, or for each, before enrolling on a course, the reason people take the IELTS test is to study abroad. So one of the can-do statements would be to have the IELTS exam, but when they pass it, then there are other can-do statements that they need to fulfill. So in job descriptions could be something. Can you think of any can-do statements in job descriptions?
For example, places where people work, and what do they do?
Yeah.
What they do, for example, a mechanic works in a garage and he fixes cars. Yes, cars.
Yes. So a can-do statement would be something being able to communicate with the person coming to the garage, to the
Yeah.
car repair shop, and actually knowing the vocabulary.
Yes, maybe details, parts of the car.
Yeah, that would be the register and this course, but task-based, we are more focused on what they can do. So situations. So able to communicate with a customer and ask what they need. But of course, it includes vocabulary, the specific lexes. We cannot, they cannot perform their job without knowing the vocabulary. Okay. So let's take a look. We have needs analysis, who, what, who needs to, who are we talking about? Car mechanics, what they need to do, and why they need to do. Course design, we move from needs analysis to course design. What are the objectives of the course? We have to have a syllabus, scope, and sequence. So when we know that, then we can move to material development. What to use and how to reach objectives. And then after we've completed the course, we need to evaluate it. So reflection and evaluation. How well did it work? And then we go back, needs analysis, course design, we improve the course. Any questions here?
Big job.
Yes. Yes. Now, corpus analysis.
No questions.
What is it? A collection of written and spoken text is corpus. You have many corpuses online, and corpora can be based on location, dialect, genre, and more. You have, for example, Brown, COCA, BNC, law, Disney scripts. You can find corpora online, like collections. Those are computerized collections of corpora, written and spoken text in a language, which can actually help you do your research. Corpus analysis identifies rules of language use, grammatical, lexical patterns that are relevant to a particular genre or type of text. So I might share some links to some different corpora online to see what it looks like. You type in a specific word, and it gives you 50 or 100 sentences. So the word in context, and you see how it is used. Because, as we mentioned before, we as English teachers or language teachers in general might not know how certain words are used in a medical context or in a context of law, or something that is really specific to a particular industry or job. And then we use corpora for that. Situational practice scenario. Okay, so here is what we'll do. We have a class, English for IELTS. This is a new course. What are the course goals? To prepare incoming IELTS students to succeed in passing the test, since the students have scored low on exams and papers, but know the material in their native language. So they've been explained what the IELTS test is. No, I did not write that, but it's academic, IELTS academic, if it makes sense. Discussion questions. What are some initial things you would want to find out? What types of analysis do you think would best fit in this situation? Discourse, register, genre, task-based, or corpus? And what are some possible problems that might come up? So we have these from before. Discourse, register, genre, task-based, and corpus analysis.
We should know how much points the candidate wants to have. Yeah, it will be his. It will be task based. Yeah?
Okay.
And
So
maybe and find out his weakness.
So we want to find out their weaknesses, what band they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And that leads us to a genre, right? We can work out weaknesses using genre.
Genre, yes, yes.
By the way, can corpus be a book? Like you're reading a book, it is specified like on nursing or sailing.
Not a book, but for example, a collection of books can be a corpus. I think you have, for example, the Harry Potter corpus. So all the Harry Potter books and the collection of all the sentences used in those. So yes, collection of books can be a corpus. But it's a very small corpus compared to those big corpuses.
I've used Coca corpus. Michael, there are a lot of sentences, for example, examples, and the information where it took, for example, from the interview, from the nursery, and so on. There are examples or with special word, for example. Yes, right, Milan?
Absolutely, that's right. That's right. So you can learn a lot about what specific, in this case, would be academic English, right? They need academic vocabulary. So you would look for so that would be what? Register, right?
So what register?
Formal or informal English? Or
It would be, yeah, academic English is mainly geared towards formal, right? And academic English, so those are different. The words are different. The lexis is different from the lexis we use in everyday English. Okay.
So, and probably so a teacher should be prepared with the tasks which are relevant to the ELTC exam.
Yes. What would those be? If you're familiar, if you're not, that's fine.
So I'm not familiar with IELTC, sorry.
Mhm.
Framework of the exam, structure, logic, yeah.
Mhm. So what do we have? We have the written part or writing part.
Listening, yeah.
Speaking.
Grammar in use, I think. Speaking, yeah, no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we have all the four skills, but what
Yeah.
is it focused on? If we're having a listening activity, a listening task,
Mhm.
is it going to be shopping in a
Mhm.
mall or not? Are they, for academic IELTS, could it be that our students will listen to a conversation between a shop assistant and a customer?
Yes.
No.
Why not? No.
No idea. I'm not acquainted with
Academic English.
IELTS.
Academic, no.
Academic, no. So what would be a more likely scenario? Academic IELTS?
How to make orders, maybe, for the whole supermarket.
Could be, but academic English is about studies in a foreign language. So future university students
Mhm.
could be about writing emails to their
Yeah.
to their
Contracts.
colleagues or to their professors. What else, Michael?
For example, you've missed a seminar or a lecture, and you need to make up for it, and you can call on the professor or someone else, and that's what listening is about.
Yes. So that would be a listening activity. So what is the register? What is the genre? Could we approach that from a task-based perspective or corpus perspective?
So formal language. So register is
Formal
should be formal
formal and academic, yes.
and academic. Mhm.
And then you need to find the specific words and phrases, collocations that are used in such situations. And how to do that? Well, corpora help you. And what are some possible problems that might come up?
Mm.
We are talking about the possible problems for you while preparing the course, while designing the course. This specific course.
What to start with?
Well, we have needs analysis. Who, what, and why. What to start with in what way, Oksana?
Where can we find some peoples to ask them
Yeah, that could be
to make our needs analysis? We have to ask lots of people. Where
that
can we
could be an
find them?
issue. Yeah, it could be that your students, your future students, are not available. You cannot have an interview with them before the course starts, so it makes it more difficult. You will have access to them when they come to your first lesson, but not before. So that could be one problem. Oh, excellent, Olga. What else?
It can be way too challenging to hammer out an agreement on the band of IELTS. maybe the student doesn't know yet what band does he want to reach.
Yes, or could be that you have a mixed ability class, right? Somebody wants to achieve a band 6 and some of them want to achieve band 7, for example. Good. What else?
Maybe time.
Time could be also an issue.
We have
How so, Olga?
small time to prepare. Maybe he wants to pass this IELTS in 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be another. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'd like to add, I think it is possible. So it can be in the real life that the students can make a lot of mistakes in their written tasks, and the teacher is not able to eliminate all those mistakes until until a certain data of ELTC. So the teacher doesn't have enough time to eliminate all those mistakes in written tasks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So again, it could be a lack of time. Good. Now, let's move on and talk about stakeholders. A stakeholder is someone who has an interest in the success of the course or research you're doing. So can you think of stakeholders in any situation? Who are stakeholders?
We are stakeholders.
Teachers are stakeholders, yes. We have an interest in the success of a course. Okay. Who else?
The students are stakeholders.
Yes. They want to succeed.
And probably their parents.
Yes, their parents.
Yeah, this term ascribed to people who have their stakes high.
Mm-hmm. Who else? So teachers, learners, their parents, or family. If we're talking about, Olga, business English course. Yulia, business English course. Is it going to be
Businessmen, businesswomen.
Companies.
companies? So they're employers.
Employers, sorry.
They're employers, exactly. Okay. And their business, their administration, for example, their HR department would be interested.
HR department and
Of the company, yes. And let me share some more with you. So applied linguists, domain experts, people that may be working with, they might be working with in the future. So they are also interested in that. So their colleagues who are more proficient, or their business partners, or people who would like to work with them in the future. They cannot now because they do not have the do not possess a sufficient level of knowledge of that. Okay. Do all of those stakeholders have an equal, should all of those stakeholders have an equal say in designing a course? So you're a teacher, you're designing a course, an IELTS course, or a business English course, or any other course. And now you need to consider the stakeholders when choosing when designing your syllabus, when choosing what to put in the course. So what do? You ask the stakeholders, you ask them questions, you interview them, and based on their feedback, you decide what to include in your course. So are they of equal importance? Should you consider them of equal importance, their feedback?
Mm. Mm.
Yes, no?
No,
no,
not equal.
not equal.
Okay,
it's
why
all.
not? Give
So
me a situation. Give me your situation.
The
Probably
main interest
storage.
have employers, and then we have to make some stairs. Who have
Okay. You're
more-
teaching, so tell us about your practice. Tell us about your situation, your students, and who are your stakeholders currently?
For my, it's parents.
So you're teaching kids currently, Olga, right?
Yes.
So that would be their parents. Anyone else?
Yeah, also parents.
No, but is it only parents?
No, learners, of course.
Administration of the schools.
Oh, of
So
course, learners on first place.
learners and their parents, but also probably teachers, their teachers in school, right? Not you, their teachers, right? Imagine the kid coming back from school with a bad mark in English. So you want to prepare them so they get good grades in school. So that, of course, you have parents, they could say, and teachers could say that you're doing a good job. So that would be, and of course, it's always the question, how much of the materials and what you're doing should be what the teachers, their school teachers want, how much should it be what their parents want and the kids want. It's not easy to gauge that. Okay. But identifying stakeholders is really important. If you're preparing a course for teachers, like trainee teachers, you would have different stakeholders, right? Okay. Anything that you would like to ask?
Well, what about applied linguists? Are they methodology? So are they work in? So do they work in methodology?
Yes, yes. They're concerned with specific methodologies. So applied linguists, they are interested in successful courses. If you design a successful course, they will have something to research and will benefit from that. You will benefit and they will benefit. The entire field will benefit. So successful language courses are important. So yeah, in that way, apply linguists. You don't have to worry about them that much when designing courses, but they are on the fringes, but they are also stakeholders.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's take a situation. You work at an intensive English program in China, where you just accepted a job to design and teach a course to high school students whose English speaking ability is too low to function inside a classroom. The class should focus. Might very well be in Russia, right? The class should focus on classroom and instructional language, student life, speaking, and other social skills. So who are our stakeholders?
The administration of the China school.
Okay, yes, the principal and
The parents of those students, China students.
Students themselves.
Okay.
They are not interested, as usual. Can it be a teacher himself?
Other teachers, but you're a stakeholder, but also other teachers, your colleagues.
Yes.
Colleagues, if we're talking about an international school, how could that benefit your colleagues? You teach English, your colleagues teach chemistry and biology. How could that benefit them? You have it here in the situation.
They teach chemistry and biology also in English.
Yes, so
they benefit if students will know English better from me.
exactly. So if they know English and instructional language, so when they tell them do that or do this, they understand.
Well, imperative mood.
Exactly. Okay. Student life. That could be definitely something that students should and I guess are in most cases interested in.
Their friends who live abroad, like pen friends or just friends, who they speak to in English.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the administration, the students, their parents. So who is the most important stakeholder in this situation? The principal and the administration?
Friends.
So the parents of the students.
They are the ones paying for their education, paying your salary.
So the parents have high demands just to have the higher education for their children.
Yeah, they are not interested in instructional language. They want just good marks.
Not only marks, but and they want their children to have better education.
Yeah, but how do they achieve? Do they know exactly how they might achieve that?
No, they don't.
Okay. So all stakeholders are important, some more, some less important. Okay. Data collection tools, how to collect data from stakeholders. We can do that through surveys and questionnaires. Of course, we need to have access to those stakeholders. Here are some pros of surveys and questionnaires. It's very, very important how you construct questions in those questionnaires. Should not be part of a preliminary step of the needs analysis, so surveys and questionnaires. Interviews, this is the most common data collection tool. So you go to the principal and talk to him. It might be more difficult to talk to all the parents physically. So when you want to collect data from the parents, you would probably use surveys and questionnaires. Allows for large amount of data, and also your prospective students. Interviews could be structured or unstructured. So it could be just in passing or just when you go to the principal's office, or you can prepare for the interview, of course, and go to them with that purpose. Interviewer must know proper tactics. So you should be prepared with, you should know how to go about conducting it. Allows for follow-up questions. So surveys and questionnaires, you have a question, and when they write an answer, you might have a follow-up question, but you cannot ask it. With interviews, you can do that. So the pros of surveys, you can interview 200 parents, but you cannot ask follow-up questions, and can be unintentionally biased or leading, because the nature of speech is like that. We can have language audits, diaries, journals, and logs. Similar to surveys and interviews, takes the institution, organization as the unit of analysis. Can be used before the needs analysis. Diaries, journals, logs, learners, practitioners record their language use. So if you have access to the students, you can read what they wrote, for example, in the previous year. You can ask them to show you their notebooks and see their level of English. Okay. Of course, Michael, you mentioned observation at the beginning of the session. Direct, in-depth, and contextualized. So those are all collection tools that can be used to help us prepare, to identify stakeholders, to see what the needs are for when preparing the course. Participant observation allows for observer to become part of the situation. So you can go to a chemistry lesson or some other lesson or some situation when they use English and see what is it that they need. There are some ethical issues possible. So why is this person in the back row observing us? Or we feel uncomfortable or something like that. Non-participant. So you're only there to observe them. You cannot participate when we have this data collection tool. And types: ethnography, immersion into a situation, classroom observation, could be for specific purposes or content, or work situational observation. So you can go to, if you're designing a business English course, you can go to the organization, of course, in agreement with their CEO or their managers, and observe, see what it is like for how they spend their day, to understand them. So they are business professionals, and what is it that they do? Okay. And then we come to the data triangulation. So we have the method of analysis. Are we going to use task-based approach, or genre approach, or corpora? Then tools, survey or observation, and then sources, stakeholders. So you need to have these three to design a good course. So this is like the holy trinity of course design. If you have all three, and if you have enough data on all three, then your course is likely going to be well designed. Okay, any questions so far?
Well, no questions.
I suppose you are joking, Milan.
But
Please feel free.
the question will appear in a practical work when we will design
Absolutely,
our course.
absolutely. And after I leave the presentation and you go again through it, you will have more time. So you feel free to write the questions in our chat in Telegram. So let's take a look at a practice situation. We have two situations. We'll go. I hope that the breakout rooms will work. So one situation, let's say Olga and Yulia, you'll be in one breakout room, Michael and Oksana in the other. So choose situation 1 or 2. Think about data triangulation, the Holy Trinity, and how you would go about preparing your course, designing your course. So situation 1, Michael, can you read the first situation for us?
Sure. Directions in break rooms. This one. Oh,
Situation 1.
Yeah. You are tasked with designing a new course for a private company in Dubai. The company deals with designing and manufacturing microprocessors. The company has recently received contracts with several US and UK companies and wants to present themselves as professional and international.
Okay, and the second situation, Yulia, can you read it for us?
Yes, sure. You work at a refugee camp as an English teacher, preparing the refugees to enter in the US or UK. You have never worked with refugees from the region before. The program had tasked you to design a set of classes that will prepare them for daily life.
Okay, so who wants situation 1? Who wants situation 2?
Michael, what would you like?
Well, I would like to hear out your opinion on this one. Which one?
Well, Olga, let's choose number the second situation.
I don't want to be in any of these situations right now, honestly. But manufacturing microprocessors, it's absolutely in the moon.
Well, Olga,
I will work in a refugee camp as a
yes. So Olga, we in one camp. We will be in one camp just in a minute.
We
As
will
for me, I don't understand.
Refugees.
Sorry, I don't understand the difference between students and refugees. They are also students. Why not?
And they are also refugee.
We don't like microprocessors.
It's hard work.
I like Dubai.
No.
Okay, that is settled. Oksana, Michael, situation 1.
Milan, do you share this holy triangle with us in our separated room?
I'm not sure how I can do that.
Okay, wait.
Maybe you can take a photo, or I can
Yes, I have to
just
make a
copy
photo.
paste it in the. I can copy paste it in the meeting chat.
I
will share.
Just a second, please.
I will share the presentation after the session. So here is the meeting chat, and I'll copy the situations for you.
But if we can't say anything.
And okay, so here is a little bit of help. Think of a research situation. It could be from your Yeah. So let's see if breakout rooms work. Okay. Okay. Let's say 7 or 8 minutes for this. Okay. Where do we set the time? The time. Let's say 7 minutes. Okay.
Mhm. So, situation you task with designing your course, try to complete until design.
Following the triangle, we
Mhm.
need to decide what methodology, we like to use.
Mhm.
What method of analysis? Do you have any ideas on this one?
None of them. Method.
I would suggest task-based.
Mhm.
Well, as far as I remember, task-based is like a task-based learning. You know this approach in ESL?
No, I don't know this approach.
When you set a task for learners,
Mhm.
it can be a project.
Mhm.
They do it the most of the time of the lesson time, and at the end they present it.
Mm.
And they want to live, they want to be a citizen of the European Union or United Kingdom. They want to be a citizen, and for this purpose they have to study English.
Okay, I got it.
Mhm.
And I think, firstly, we can ask not refugees what do they need, and what government from these countries need
Okay,
to
so-
make people citizens.
okay,
What
so
demand?
okay, so firstly we ask whom? Embassy or what? What is the institution who who just
Makes this demand.
invite all these refugees into the European Union?
They
So
never invited them, Julia.
okay, they
They
never invited.
They don't want them,
Okay.
and they make barriers such
Okay.
as
Okay.
level
We
of
ask.
English.
Okay, so we ask some governmental
Principles.
institution. I don't know the name of them.
It is not. It
Okay,
doesn't matter.
governmental institutions about their needs. What do they need from all these refugees and their level of English?
Yes.
they could know the contracts, yes, in their native language, but they couldn't know the specific terms in English, for example.
Yeah, really all they need to do is to present their microprocesses. So that will
Yes.
be the main key point. Maybe we will just list out some procedures to help to achieve this main aim, like in the ESL standard lesson.
Yes.
But it will take a bit longer, just like a course.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a task based all along the way. They'll just maybe new get knowing some new vocabulary
Yes.
and using this after and after each lesson
Mhm.
by presenting new situations, and maybe or just parts of this presentation, and then at the end they will have the whole picture of what's happening and how it is happening.
Mhm.
And the teacher is just observing and throw some help, so throws a lifeline to the students, maybe just putting on the board some new vocabulary.
Yes.
No, they don't need much writing, just a bit, a little.
Just speaking and listening. Oh,
Speaking
Julia,
and listening, yeah,
listening, understanding.
listening tasks. Listening to the dialects. And then we have to teach them how to speak in dialects. So what about, let's go to this, to what? The next stage of triangle sources. Should we consult any other experts when we are preparing a course for refugees?
On daily situations?
No,
Experts?
we shouldn't. I think we shouldn't.
I don't know, Julia. Maybe we should. For requests, for applying documents to be citizens.
Well, so what about written tasks? So refugees will have to apply documents, just the embassy. They should write some forms, and then they so written tasks should be involved.
Should be also.
Okay, written.
Sources, of course.
What about sources?
Forms from embassy. Forms.
Yes.
All
written forms
what
from embassy.
forms?
We will need them. Okay. And what about tools? Tools. Observation, survey, interview, probably. A triangle, the next stage of triangle.
I don't know. What tools? Pens, pencils, what tools?
No, not tools. Just we have to interview them. With the help of what? With the help of what we have to
yeah. So yeah.
Hello.
Here we all are back in the main room. So, who would like to go first and tell us about their situation? What you discussed and how you would go about designing the course.
Michael, can you?
Well, with Oksana already decided that we'll use something like of a task-based learning
Mhm,
plus communicative approach.
mhm.
So this will work like this. We will use it as an analysis. The teacher will observe, and he won't be a participant either, just an observer. So this will be like a test for them.
You will observe what?
Observe the presentation of
When they present those microprocessors and
yeah, yeah. It really doesn't matter whether they will use L1 or L2 a lot, which
Mhm.
one of those. We'll just take notes which one dominates, what do they don't know, what are their key problems, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Oksana, do you remember what goes after this?
So you've talked about the method
I'm not sure.
and the tools and the sources. Mhm.
Sources,
What
yeah.
about the sources?
We discussed corpus
Mhm.
to use, and what else? Yeah, and maybe field experts, because we need specific terms.
So you would ask the experts in that
Yes.
area, in computer science or.
Right.
Mhm. You can perhaps also ask them through a
Yeah,
survey.
right.
So
Yeah, they know the specific term. We know the I don't know, the language, for example.
yeah, what you can also do is to first ask field experts, so they come up with 100 terms that you need to, that they think you need to teach through the course of the course, and then you give them those 100 terms to your future students and ask them, how frequently do you use these? Put them on a from 1 to 5. How often do you use them? And then you see, and then you go to a corpus and see how they're used, and then you go to your task-based or genre-based analysis and prepare lessons, specific lessons for that. So see in what situations the language is used and prepare lessons around that. Right? Okay. Great. Anything else, Oksana, Michael?
Besides, I just thought that if they want to present their company for general people,
Yes.
I don't think they have to use narrow specific terms, because general people couldn't understand it.
Yes. Yes. That's true. So so you need to find out what their needs are. With the situation is not specific enough, especially because I wanted you to think about all the possibilities. So it could be that they need to talk to their business partners in the US and UK, to whom they want to sell those microprocessors.
Yes, we have to find out, those who they want to present themselves. Yes, will it be other similar companies or just customers, for example?
Let's say that they have a branch in the UK and in Dubai, so they are colleagues,
right,
programmers, researchers, so they need to talk to each other. Or is it those specialists talking to prospective buyers?
Right.
So we need to know that as well. Absolutely, good thinking.
And just to avoid the language and context,
Yes.
missing out the language and context, we can add up some TED Talks on presenting microprocessors or
Yeah.
reading some The Guardian or something.
Yes.
Helpful resources for them to do on their own and maybe ask some questions if they
Mhm.
had some.
Yeah, that would be the question of material design. We won't have time for that, but it is included in the presentation. I'll just show you the slides and you'll be able to read through that, ask me questions if you have any. Thank you, Oksana, Michael, Yulia, Olga.
Yeah,
The
I will-
refugee camp situation.
Okay, I will start. So our situation that we are teachers in the camp where refugees try to get into European Union or to the US, and we have to teach them. Well, we will start with the stage of sources for with the stage of our triangle when we have to find sources of our course. So firstly, we will get to the some governmental institution, let's say immigration department, and ask them about their demands and as for the level of the English, then we will ask those governors about the set of papers, set of just papers for refugees, how they just could get citizens. So some papers, the forms, how to fill in these forms, and some samples of the forms. We should have them as the teachers and analyze
so you can prepare
them.
your materials for the
So,
course.
yeah, and then we will be able to prepare our course, our tasks.
Yeah, you don't know which forms they need to fill, so you will ask the institutions.
The
Great.
institutions, so-called immigration department. I don't know exactly the name of it. Okay, and so then then we will me and Olga decided to just to make a method of analysis in a way that we just have collected the information from that immigration department, and then we will be able just to make task-based exercises for our refugees, and this task-based assignments, and then so Olga and me decided that our course should have such tasks as
daily
task
situation.
for
Daily
listening.
situations.
So everyday vocabulary. We should input everyday vocabulary, tasks for everyday vocabulary. Then listen tasks.
Just set of dialogues, useful phrases to make dialogues in any spheres, in shopping, in requesting something, to get to somewhere, yes,
Okay, to integrate into the new society more easily, so to speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
a specific vocabulary for everyday English. And
Okay.
we should teach our refugees informal language in informal genre.
Okay, good.
We should
Good.
use a communicative approach in our teaching. So
Okay, but how do you know that it is going to be informal language? Let's say, the task says, what does it say? Refugee camp and you have refugees. What if those refugees are, for example, IT engineers?
So what about everyday English? So in this task, we have just a hint that we should teach our students everyday English. That's informal English,
Could be
suppose.
that, could be that. But how can you find that out? What is it that they need?
So we will
We have
ask
to observe.
immigration department,
Only them?
some
We have to
other
ask
governmental
refugees.
institutions.
What do they need?
Ask the refugees as well.
We will, okay, we will ask refugees.
Yeah.
So, and what else?
Of course,
in
they
our
need
course-
to get integrated into the society. That's absolutely true. So perhaps a mixture. So it really depends on what kind of feedback you get from them.
And we have to ask the head of this camp. He had already lots of refugees before.
Yes.
He exactly knows what do they need from for daily life. He
But
has
remember-
lots of information. We have
Remember
to
that each refugee group might be different. So one way of refugees could be blue collar workers. The other group coming 1 or 2 months after that could be university educated people. So they would slightly they would have slightly different needs. So yes.
Okay, but the task is to teach them everyday English,
to survive.
not ESP
If
English.
they don't know English at all,
Yeah,
we have to
Absolutely.
teach them to survive, to take care of their children, how to get to hospital,
Yes.
to make requests, how to survive.
Okay.
Maybe it is
Great,
main part
great.
for refugees.
Probably that. Probably informal and situational English is what they need. Great, Olga, Yulia. Oksana, Michael, do you have any questions for the second situation? Yulia, Olga, for the first situation?
oh, I don't.
Me too.
We have to do a lot in any situation.
Okay. So we don't have a lot of time. We don't have time. I'll show you what more I have here. So we have syllabus types. The types that focus on grammar, on situations, on tasks, functional, genre, and content syllabuses. So you can choose which one you for a particular situation. Some syllabuses syllabi would work better than for others. Then finding materials. Where do you find the materials? Which websites, textbooks? So consider that, think about that. It really depends on your situation. So in your practice situations, do you have any ideas about that?
On the internet.
Somewhere.
Somewhere in real life on the internet. So to ask colleagues about some supplementary materials.
Ask you.
Corpora, right?
Opera.
Don't forget Corpora.
Yeah, but there are a lot of information.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Sometimes we don't get paid for
Yeah.
designing a course, only for teaching it, and people don't have an idea how much time we spend on designing materials. One lesson, let alone an entire course of, let's say, 20 or 30 lessons.
Right.
Characteristic variables of materials, level. So you need to consider the level of those refugees and those. Michael, are you here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just my camera shut it down.
So the level, the content, task type, based on the data triangulation, the Holy Trinity. Scaffolding. Do we remember what scaffolding is?
Yeah.
Help.
Good. So that's also important. Here is low order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. So scaffolding, based on that, you will be able to read it after the session. Material examples. Here are some material examples. Genre and register. For example, listening and speaking. Role play a situation that would occur in a specific genre. So could be buying food at a local supermarket for those refugees, or going to the doctors. And register, informal, of course, in that situation. Writing could be formal for those refugees because they need to write formal letters of something. So what to assess and how. This is after the course. So student retention. In your situation, that's not a problem, right? With refugees, there will be more and more. So, and it is, but in the situation of those companies, are they going to call you again to do another course with their specialists? So also motivation, engagement, satisfaction, workload, achieved proficiency. So those are the things that you need to consider after the course. Remember, reflection and okay. Traditional and alternative assessment. We had this video input on assessment, so you need to have some kind of assessment to figure out how successful the course was. And that's pretty much it. Any questions, anything that you would like to ask now?
No questions.
Okay. So do you think designing a course is a big task, or?
Of course.
I think I never do this
So that's a
in
great
my real
job.
life.
That's a great job.
You never know. You can work at an
No,
institution.
you can kill 5 years for this. And and the next stage, no, it's really hard work, and lots of professional sites and have these courses already. I don't know if if it was to do this and to kill my precious time for this.
Yeah, you have a lot of course books, for example, medical English or technical English. So you have multiple course books.
Not
But
only course books, and courses, online courses too.
yeah, but they might not be the best for your group of learners.
I'm still not sure.
This is, of course, when you work full-time, or if you're a freelancer and you want to develop your course and to advertise it online. So two possibilities.
I'd
If you
like
work
to
full-time.
create a course without my presence in it, you know, just make exercises, tasks
You can do that as well. That's also a possibility.
without me. And I just take money.
Olga, if you can do it, I will ask you to do it for me.
I've done it already on my VK. You saw this.
Yeah,
too.
I saw. Mhm.
But for now, I haven't students on this course because
Now you have the tools to
some-
improve that course that you've
Yeah.
use the tools that we learned about today and improve that course. What is it? What is the course about, Olga?
it's just general grammar for children. General,
Mhm.
I teach children and their
Okay.
parents to help their
So
children.
now you know what to do to see why nobody wants the course. What
But
do you
maybe my course already perfect. Just nobody knows me. Nobody know me. Because
could be
I have
could be
a small amount of subscribers. They don't see me now.
well
How can I know if my course good or bad
research
should-
if nobody see?
questionnaires. Send questionnaires to your stakeholders. Ask them what do you need. Do you need this grammar? Why not? Why do you need it? Why don't you need it? Ask them questions, surveys, interviews.
Asked. They only want live me. They don't want to study by themselves.
Maybe videos you make. You may record your readings. The
I
video.
recorded and I
Video
shared
lessons.
on my VK society. They want live lessons. Now, okay, I'm sorry I took your time.
No, that's part of what we're discussing today.
Thank you.
Okay, if you don't have any questions, thank you for being here, and I hope that you enjoy the input, the live session. I'll share the PDF right away, and yeah, you can start working on your course.
But we already started working on our lessons, group lessons. It is a big job, and I don't understand how I can do this task to prepare for a lesson, for a group lesson, for skilled teachers with my B1 level to teach you C1.
Okay,
can I?
Olga, don't be so scared.
It's a simulation. It's
We
not
are good guys.
Mm.
So we are so kind.
a simulated
No,
Don't be
I'm
so
lesson.
scared.
So Milan,
under the table.
what will our homework be according to this new material?
Just to figure out what course you would like to teach. So that's the first goals, not goals, the third slide. What are your career research goals? What are you focusing within your English teaching specialization? So what course perhaps maybe in the future you would like to
Is this course will be in
design?
English, only in English, or we can?
Of course not, I think.
This can you can apply this to any language, to teaching. You can apply this to teaching, to preparing refugees to learn Russian or something like that. Absolutely, it could be applied to any language. This course design, or for any kind of course, actually. It could be business skills in Russian. Could be so if somebody has no business skills but wants to become a business professional. But you're English teachers first and foremost, so you teach English, and then if you're for example, a successful businessman, you could design a course for for future business professionals and use the same framework that we have today. Yeah, so the Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Okay.
Milan.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Bye.
So bye bye everybody. Thank you for your lesson.
Bye.